offense?
Defense.
What creates defense?
Offense.
No, the goal in the back of the net.
It's been a half decade of dominance in the conference from this golf team, Thomas. You have them in the C tier. What are we doing?
I'm
4 out of the
expecting
last
a
5 years they've won the
championship
championship.
Talk about the present stuff. And, well, actually, I'm going to talk about the past right now.
At least if you're gonna pick a trap game, pick the right ones.
I don't know if anyone knew. She just got a Barbie. And to me, if you get a Barbie, that means you've made it in life. So, I mean, Alona Mari.
Are you ready for some debate? Because Bobcat Breakdown starts right now.
Welcome back into Studio 125 for another episode of Bobcat Breakdown. I'm Matt Flaherty, joined alongside me, Brittney Bronleben, Josh August. We'll be covering all things winter sports tonight, including both men's and women's basketball and men's and women's ice hockey. What are you guys most excited for?
You know, Brittney, I'm very excited for basketball talk. It's going to be great tonight.
No, we're going to have such a fun time. We're a fun desk. Guys, it's going to be a great night. Let's go.
Well, before we get into debate, QBSN is here to highlight our Bobcat Game Day coverage of the exciting women's basketball matchup between Quinnipiac and Fairfield on Saturday.
Bobcat Game Day is back. The Quinnipiac women's basketball team taking on the Fairfield Stags this afternoon. It's the 1 and the 2 in the MAC. We got an exciting show. My name is Ben Rickovicius. I'm joined alongside Brady Mullen, Thomas Curtis, and Zach Napa.
Hi guys, I'm Brittney Bronleben, and I'm joined alongside captain of the women's basketball team, Jackie Grisdale, and we're going to talk about things and walk the basketball court.
In what started at Shenendehowa High School in Clifton Park, New York, it's rare to find all the herders under one roof. But when they were, it led to a whole lot of success.
It's been awesome to have such great role models who, know what I'm going through.
Thanks, guys. Welcome inside M&T Bank Arena for this Valentine's matchup between the Quinnipiac Bobcats and the Fairfield Stags. I'm Patrick McGugan alongside Zach Stokinger.
You just have to make sure you go back to your fundamentals. You go back to your plays. You don't let those first quarter jitters get to you. And that's going to be key to a Bobcats victory tonight.
These are two very close rivals. A lot of red in the stands, a lot of blue in the stands. It's going to be a very, very tight game.
Absolutely. Ella Ryan, three-pointer, dagger! Ella Ryan gets the party started for the buzzer to Herder. Herder drives middle, guarded by Sydney Ryan. Ryan takes it away. Herder got it back. She flips it into Coe. Coe working against Ryan. She kicks it out. Lamoureux, three-pointer. She got it at the buzzer. We're all tied, 3 apiece in hand. Bobcats did great last time. They matched everything the Stags threw at them. That's what the Stags are going to have to do today. O'Donnell has it at the three-point line. She's going to drive, working against Coe. Gets in the lane. Her layup is good. The Bobcats up 5-3.
A big thank you to everyone working behind the scenes. We couldn't have run this show without you guys. For Brady Mullen, Thomas Curtis, and Zach Napa, I'm Ben Rickovicius. Thank you for tuning in, and have a happy Valentine's Day.
Let's get started with our first question of the night. The women's basketball team lost to the Fairfield Stags on Saturday, and as Coach Fabry said, round 2, Fairfield. The Stags defeated the Bobcats 75-63 and are attempting to regain control of the top seed in the MAC. Brittney, what was the biggest factor in the loss against Fairfield?
All right, I'm going to have to say their shooting was their biggest factor in the loss, especially their shooting beyond the arc. This team has shot 37.3% from the three on the season, and they're averaging 8 threes per game. Guess how many threes they made in the game against Fairfield? 4 for 14. Josh, that's brutal. You can't win games making 4 threes the entire game. The Stags shot 9 for 23, averaging 39.1%. Quinnipiac was 28.6. That's 10% better. You can't win games like that, Josh.
Brittney, I'm going to have to agree to disagree. I said their lack of scoring was their biggest factor in the loss. I said that, they shot 28% from 3. Jackie Grisdale led the team in 40 minutes. She only had 6 shots. When your best player has 6 shots in 40 minutes, you're not going to have, a way to win. In their losses this year, at Rutgers, they had 2 people in double digits. St. John's, only Grisdale and O'Donnell had double digits. And at Fairfield, only O'Donnell and Foley had double digits. If this Bobcats team wants to beat Fairfield and avenge their loss in Atlantic City, they're going to have more players score more than 10 points.
No, I agree, Josh. I like how we both picked that shooting. Their defense, we agree, is on point. Besides, they couldn't lock up Katie Lamoureux. She dropped 30 points. Yeah. But they're shooting from 3. That's a little more concerning. Other players can step up from shooting. We saw, as you said, Ella O'Donnell. The whole team was struggling with shooting, but more importantly, they couldn't shoot from the 3. 4 the entire game, Josh. 4. I don't think you understand how that's big of an emphasis that is, that they have to hone down on that. That's a major part of the game.
When the Bobcats beat Fairfield the first time, Carson Martin and O'Donnell had 37 points combined. So yes, the shooting is a big part of their overall offense, but they need one of their guards to step up, whether that's Sydney or Ella Ryan, whether that is Carson Martin to have another 18, 19-point outing. That is going to be the biggest factor for them to beat Fairfield again.
That's fair. I'm seeing what you're saying. I understand, but going from the last time when they beat Fairfield, you know how many times threes the Bobcats made the first time when they won at Fairfield?
I do not.
They more than doubled how many threes? 9 threes. That's a huge difference, Josh. I understand what you're saying, the shooting overall, but you have to look at it from the bigger pictures that they were getting into Ella O'Donnell. She was making the layups. It wasn't that was the problem of that they couldn't shoot the ball at all. They were driving to the basket, making layups, and hitting the closer shots. They couldn't shoot from the arc. That was the major problem, is that they couldn't drain threes.
I don't see that as big of a concern because they've shot so well this year. I think that when you look at their overall season, they're 21-5. For 24 of those games, they've shot the three ball well. I think Saturday's game was more of a off day from the efficiency part of it than what we should expect in the future.
All right, I'm glad we're agreeing on the same page, though. Shooting was definitely the problem.
Yeah.
Well, definitely, guys. We'll be looking forward to a potential third matchup between these two teams. But sticking with women's hoops, both squads now have 12-point wins against each other so far this year. And the loss Saturday broke Quinnipiac's undefeated MAC record. But is there any way that this loss is beneficial for the squad down the road? Your turn, Josh.
Yeah, I don't think so. You lose the game. There is no reason that a loss is beneficial. Fairfield already beat them last year in the championship. They were going to be hungry, regardless of if they swept them or if they split the series like they did this year. Last time they beat both was 22-23. This is a team that, regardless, say they did beat them twice, they were still going to be hungry to beat them a third time in the championship, which is what Fairfield did beat them in the last 2 years, Brittney.
Yeah, but I think losing is actually what this Bobcats team needed. They needed to lose in order to improve on mistakes. They've been struggling with shooting the entirety of the second half from especially the three. So now that you have the loss on it, now you want to fix it even more. I understand what you're saying about the hunger part that, yeah, they lost in the MAC championship, but last year they also beat Fairfield right before the MAC championship. That kind of gave them that false confidence. So now you're losing right before, 2 weeks before Atlantic City. I think that's exactly what this team needs. And especially from the bigger picture for Fabry, them losing to Fairfield currently right now still gives Quinnipiac the #1 seed. So they're allowed to improve on their mistakes, still get the 1 seed, and be able to only get better throughout the season. I think that's exactly what this team needs. They need to make sure to fix up the final notches, and that loss really showed them what the big picture is.
See, if they did beat Fairfield twice, Fairfield would have had to come into the third game in the MAC championship and playing desperate. And sometimes when you play desperate, you lose your fundamentals. You play sloppy basketball, and that could have benefited Quinnipiac.
Yeah, but Fairfield's also gone, as we saw in the previous season, the 2023 to 2024. They got undefeated. They beat teams 2 and 3 times. That wasn't a problem for Fairfield. Fairfield's a dangerous team where I don't think Quinnipiac could beat them 3 times in a row, especially in one season, because they're so dangerous. As we saw, Katie Lamro dropped 30 points. Yes, we limited Megan Anderson in both games. She only had 7 points on Saturday, but you can't win a game and have Katie Lamro still dropping 30 points. So now they have to know, okay, maybe instead of having Jackie Grisdale guarding someone else, you have to make sure like Jackie Grisdale stays on Lamro.
If they beat Fairfield twice, it would have created that blueprint that would have benefited Quinnipiac in the MAC playoffs. It would have gave them the edge they needed, whether that's from the three-point line, the defending part. They're the 4th best defense in the country. I think that beating them twice would have been way more beneficial than, splitting the series.
I just think Fairfield's a dangerous team where it's hard to beat a team 3 times, especially a team like Fairfield. I think it was more important that they won on the road. You give up a loss at home. Yes, obviously you guys tie the record, but Quinnipiac's still in a position to be in the first place in the MAC and the women's basketball side. I think the loss is just only helping them because now they take a breather, especially this week. They don't have a game on Thursday. Readjust everything that they've seen go so far this season, have the time to rebuild, and now going into MAC tournament in 2 weeks, Fairfield doesn't really know what to expect from you.
I don't see a point where having a loss is beneficial to the detriment of the season. They had the chance to beat the team that beat them in the MAC championship the last 2 years at home, something they haven't done. I mean, they did it, a few years ago.
They did it last season.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. That's why I think dropping the loss is going to be beneficial in the long run.
Some great points made by both of you guys there, and we will see if these two teams meet for a third time in Atlantic City. But for right now, we have to take our first break of the night. Stay tuned because these two amazing analysts will discuss all Quinnipiac winter sports team rankings right after this.
No, I'm not gambling.
Live from the Piazza, it's Quinnipiac Tonight!
As a dad, every day is a challenge. To make sure that the time that I have, I spend with them. It doesn't matter how tired you are, you have to try to teach them. When they learn something new, and you can just see in their faces, it's such an incredible moment. It's those moments that are my favorite.
Reporting from the Grove for Q30 News.
Reporting from the Miller Library for Q30 News.
Reporting from the Mount Carmel campus for Q30 News.
Reporting on Whitney Ave for Q30 News.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. Our analysts will now rank all of the winter sports teams. The analysts have 4 teams, men's and women's ice hockey and men's and women's basketball, to rank from worst to first on their performance so far this season. Let's start with the ranking of number 4. Josh, you'll go first, followed by Brittney. Who do you got?
You know what? I think there's a clear-cut number 4, and that's the men's basketball team this year. Amari Monroe is having a disappointing campaign. Preseason MAC Player of the Year, last year's MAC Player of the Year. He's down 3 points per game, shooting just 27% from 3. And when you look at games versus the top 3 MAC seed this year, they lost to Merrimack twice, including last Sunday, a game that they were in it for the most part and had a great chance to win. They lost to St. Peter's once, and although they did beat Siena, they are the clear-cut number 4.
Josh, I'm about to agree with you. I said that men's basketball is the number 4 team. The hype going into the season just has not been met yet. They're 11-6 in conference play. Yeah, that's okay. But as you said, when they're playing the lower less teams, the games are way too close. They almost lost to Niagara. They only beat them by 1 by a game winner by Grant Randall. You really can't have that against Niagara, who's only won 3 MAC games all season. That's just honestly unacceptable as the men's basketball team. And as you said, Amari Monroe, as the MAC preseason player of the year, he just hasn't been playing like it. This team's really in a dump, and they just really can't get out of it.
It's disappointing because they have the talent, but they've needed a lot to go right, and they're going to need a lot more to go right if they want a chance to win the MAC and potentially go to the big dance.
So, interesting. You guys actually agree on men's basketball being number 4, but I expect there to be a debate on the number 3 spot. So, Brittney, which team do you think?
Josh, I'm going to say men's ice hockey is the number 3 spot. Yes, they're ranked 6th of the nation, but overall, they haven't really impressed me so far this year. They did great against ranked teams, but they kind of struggled against the lower ECAC opponents. You can't expect to be one of the top teams on campus if you can beat the ranked teams, that's great, but you're struggling against lower teams. You can't be the best team on campus and just having these games that you're struggling in. Yeah, they're good, but I expect more.
Really, I'm actually pretty surprised you went there. I'm going to have to go to the other hockey team that plays earlier in the day, the women's ice hockey team.
Oh, okay.
I think they're the default 3rd because, yes, they are better than men's basketball, but when you look at the other hockey team, they're 1st in the ECAC. The same cannot be said about the women's team. They are 3rd in the ECAC. They are 8-5-1 on the road. That is not good enough, especially when you go into these tournaments where you're not going to have home ice advantage. Yes, they are dominant on the at home ice, but when you look at the road component, they are just not a good hockey team.
So, Josh, I'm going to disagree with you. For my 2C team, I'm going to have to go women's ice hockey because I think they have proven themselves this season, especially the last game against Yale, the regular season. They beat Yale twice this season. Sure, maybe they're not they rank 7th, not as high as the men's ice hockey team, but I think they've proven themselves, especially in past years, where at the end of the season, they've typically fall off. This season, they've been able to stay together throughout the season, especially beating Yale in the last game in overtime. It's kind of huge. And I feel like Kaylin LaMarche and Felicia Frank don't get much love on campus. They should be getting more respect.
When you look at the difference between the 2 hockey teams, the men's ice hockey team has the number 2 ranked offense in the country, the number 3 ranked defense in the country. They have both top 15 special teams units. Now, for the women's side, they have the number 29th ranked power play. That's a huge difference between the 2 teams. I think the men's team has an easier road to win the ECAC and make that big run.
Oh, Josh, I don't know about that. We'll talk about that later on the show, but I just think that women's ice hockey doesn't get appreciated for how much they've actually put in this season, and the ECAC for women's hockey is a lot better competition than the men's. So you're kind of comparing apples and oranges, and this women's ice hockey team has really proven themselves this season.
All right, well, why don't you guys explain your final team? So, Brittney, go ahead.
All right, for my number 1 team, I think we're both going to agree. It's women's basketball.
Yeah.
Sure, they might be not ranked in the nation like women's and men's ice hockey, but they've proven themselves, especially this season. They're 16-1 in MAC play. Only lost, obviously, to Fairfield, but they're also ranked nationally in other stats. They're 4th in the nation on scoring defense, just allowing 52.7 points per game. 8th in the nation for 11.5 turnovers per game. 8th in the nation for assist and turnovers ratio, 1.43, and 11th in the nation for 3-point percentage, 37.3. So I think those are great stats.
Brittney, when you look at teams that go on far March Madness runs, they have two things. They can shoot the ball well, and they have elite defense. The Bobcats have the 4th best defense in the country, and they shoot 37% from 3. Last year, they shot 34%, and the year before, 27%. That's a huge difference for Coach Fabry's team that she hasn't had in the past. They are, as you said, a veteran team. 8 of the 12 people on the roster are upperclassmen. It's rare nowadays to see, these young freshman, sophomore-led teams go on those runs. And you look at it in comparison to, relatively to the men's team, who's always going to be ranked inside the top 10. Women's ice hockey, same exact thing. But the way that this women's basketball team is clicking right now, it's a sight to see.
No, I agree. I think they've really proven themselves this year, and they're only getting better. I think, as we said earlier, I think that loss is really going to help them grow from the loss against Fairfield. I think they're only going to get better throughout the MAC tournament, and I think they can make a run in March Madness.
I agree. They have 3 1,000-point scorers who've reached that mark this year, and they have 3 other players on the team who average 9.5, 9.7, and 9.8 points per game. That is almost 6 players who average double digits. That is a scary, scary sight for other teams.
No, I agree, Josh.
Wow, guys, that was really fascinating. But for right now, we're going to take a break. So stay with us to hear more about a certain first year on the men's basketball team who has really turned some heads recently, along with predictions for how both ice hockey teams do in the ECAC tournament. Stay with us.
Here at Sports Pause, we like to have balance between having fun and working hard. Sometimes that competition we cover gets into our producing.
Tune in every Monday night at 9:30 at q30tv.com/watch for all the news, highlights, and more. This is Sports Pause.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing to keep us focused.
A habit we never skip, to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game? To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health. Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mental health. Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Welcome back into the studio. If you're just joining us, I'm Matt Flaherty. Joined alongside me are my wonderful analysts, Brittney Bronleben and Josh August. A first-year player on men's basketball has played a major role in Sunday's game. Ty Turnage played 34 minutes off the bench. This comes after Sim Jones got into foul trouble early in the game. Turnage has been averaging just under 13 minutes a game. So I want to know, Brittney, do you think Turnage has earned a larger role with more minutes?
The only answer here is yes. He's definitely earned more minutes. I'm not saying he should be a starter, but he has definitely earned more minutes. All right, Josh, let me give you a little history lesson because it's your first year. Last year, Savion Lewis was the point guard of the men's basketball team. He was here. You know how many seasons he was here for?
I do, 7.
7 seasons, okay? So that role had to be filled. We have a Sim Jones. He transfers in. He's okay. He's typically he's really more of a shooting guard than a point guard. He's doing his job. But then we have Ty Turnage, who subs in for him and really commands the court and takes on that leadership role. In the press conference so far this season, Coach Pecora, Amari Monroe, and Grant Randall have said that Ty Turnage, yes, he's a freshman, but he's a leader. He's taken up an important role on this team, and he understands how to command the court. So I think he deserves more minutes, and that's the only right answer here.
I have to disagree. I think the answer is unequivocally no. He's 8th on the team in minutes per game with 13. Late in the games is where Ty Turnage, they're going to have to rely on him if you want to get those minutes. He's a 6-foot guard with a 165-pound frame. That is not good enough on the defensive side of the ball. Brittney, I would like to know, where do you think, if he were to get those minutes, those are going to come from?
Josh, yes, he's a first year. He just started playing more, so I think he should play more. You're going back on the past. He hasn't been playing. Now he should be playing more, and he's proved when Asim Jones gets into dangerous situations, he thinks too fast on the court. When Asim Jones gets happy, he just throws the ball away. Ty Turnage takes his time, and he has connections with, especially Keith McKnight, throws him lobs all the time. They talk about it all the time in practice, how Ty knows the exact sweet spot for Keith McKnight because he likes it a little bit lower where he can grab his hands and then dunk it. I don't understand how you're saying yes. In the past, sure, he hasn't been playing, but he deserves to play more. It's not all about stats. It's about actually watching the chemistry on the court and the play. And the way Ty Turnage leads this team, he deserves to have more minutes and step up to that point guard role.
Now, Brittney, whose minutes do you think he should take if you're saying he should get more?
I just said Asim Jones. He can't be the starter. Asim Jones has to start. You have to keep Ty on the bench so we can see what role he has to fill. He knows on the team that he's not going to be the scorer, Ty Turnage, but he knows that he also has to watch and see how the point guards are playing defense against him so he can step up.
You want to take minutes away from a guy who leads the team with a 50% three-point percentage and is a senior with a lot more experience, has not missed a game this year.
But the point guard, as a role leader on the team, it's not all about scoring. It's about distributing the ball, and that's what this team needs more of.
If you put Ty Turnage alongside Asim Jones, you're going to have to go with a small ball lineup with potentially Amari Monroe as the 5. And that's not a great defensive lineup, especially with Turnage's undersized frame.
Ty Turnage has also proved himself on defense. He's fast. He's good. I think you're just seeing this one-dimensionally. You have to see the whole picture of playing together.
I still have to disagree. I mean, as Coach Pecora said yesterday, it's Asim's job to lose. And yes, you may want to play both of them together, but it's just a recipe for disaster on the defensive side.
Well, you guys both made some great points there, and this is something to follow for the rest of the season. But for right now, it is time for my favorite debate of the night. Who is more likely to win the ECAC tournament, men's or women's ice hockey? I'm excited to hear your answers, so get us going, Josh.
Brittney, what record sounds better, 15-2-1 or 14-6-2?
I don't know, Josh. You tell me.
Yeah, that would be the first one, which would be the men's ice hockey team. They are 6 points up on Cornell for second in the ECAC. They are 15-2-1 in conference play, as I mentioned, and they've separated themselves at the top. Once again, they have the number 2 ranked offense in the country, the number 3 ranked defense in the country. They have top 15 in both special teams units. When you look at the women's ice hockey, they're 3rd in the standings in the ECAC. Yale just won the regular season title, and they have the 29th ranked power play. Those are 2 drastic differences.
Josh, do you know when the last time the men's ice hockey team has won in Placid?
I do not.
Well, it was 2015-2016 season. Do you know when the last time the women's won the ECAC tournament?
I do not.
It was also 2015-16 season, so it's been 10 years. So I think it's fair to say either team can win, but this women's ice hockey team has more potential. The men's ECAC, as I said earlier, is not as high competition compared to the women's side. Women's, again, also, who did they beat on Saturday? They beat Yale, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and they split the Yale just won the regular season, right? In the ECAC, but they split it with Princeton. So I think that the women's ice hockey has a chance of actually winning at Placid this year. Again, this is the first time the women's ice hockey team has been in Placid. So I think it's a fair vantage point.
Unfortunately, that does conclude the debate for tonight, but that is not all from us. Stick around to hear our final roars.
Elmer loves to giggle. Elmer's mommy taught him that laughing can help when you have a big feeling, like when you feel happy. Make sure to celebrate when you're happy and laugh it out. Love your mind.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing we do to keep us focused.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game?
To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health.
Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health.
Find the resources you need to keep your mental health a priority.
Love your mind.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. It's time for our final roars. I'll start us off. All 18 years of my life, I've been a huge Boston sports fan. And say what you want about Boston sports, but it has been pretty fantastic watching the successes of the teams. However, there is one thing I cannot stand, and that is how when something goes wrong, fans on social media just rip certain players apart. I think it is because as sports fans, and particularly in New England, we expect greatness from every team every year, when that is just unrealistic. Take the Patriots as the most recent example. After back-to-back 4-win seasons, the Patriots somehow made their way to winning 14 games and winning the AFC. But when the team ultimately lost the Super Bowl, some of the fans turned their backs on the players they supported all year. It's seen at the collegiate level as well, where student athletes are trying to balance being students while competing at a high level. Unfortunately, fans take criticism to the extreme with inappropriate comments or messages sent on social media if a player doesn't perform to standards set by others. This is just one of many examples. There is always at least one fall guy when teams ultimately do not win it all. Instead, what fans should see is the hard work and determination that goes into a successful season, and how that can be built upon in the future. So, as much as we love our teams, us as fans should keep our criticism focused on the athletes' play instead of personally attacking them and not caring about their emotions. Because at the end of the day, athletes are humans, and fans should be there to boost them, not rip them apart.
Cherish your inner circle. Whether that's your mom and dad, your sister, or the friends you meet along your journey who become family to you. Cherish them in the moments you create. Your inner circle doesn't just let you create lifelong memories. They are there for you when you fail, when you make mistakes, and they're the people who can straight up tell you the truth too, whether you want to hear it or not. Whatever you want to do in life, do it with integrity, because there's always going to be people who criticize your every move, but it's up to you and the people you keep in your inner circle to put your best foot forward and go after what you want. Whatever path you choose, success isn't possible without treating people with genuine respect and kindness. The people closest to you, your growth, and bring out the best versions of each other. That's the beauty of your inner circle. When life gets heavy, you can look in a mirror and realize you have a great foundation around you. But at the end of the day, it's everyone's job to set themselves apart from their peers. If there were a cookie-cutter method to reach your potential, everyone would do it. You can be a part of a team, but still want to be autonomous in some ways. Have your own style and be your own person, because that allows you to be at your best, and real teammates will value that. They'll play to that, and they'll promote that. Be intrigued by people who are different, because you never know what you are going to learn. And surround yourself with people who want to achieve the same goals, but they're there to differ from your views. As legendary football coach Nick Saban said, mediocre people don't like high achievers, and high achievers don't like mediocre people.
Take a second right now and just appreciate time. Time is the most valuable thing. One thing needed to build championship caliber teams is time. In the era of college sports and the transfer portal, there's no actual time being spent playing together and building the connections. One thing that this women's basketball team has done is put time in to build a championship caliber team. The majority of this team is upperclassmen. 8 of the 12-man roster have put in the work and energy to want to be the best. 2 years ago, the now juniors were put in a position to step up and be leaders on this team. As freshmen, they stepped up to the plate and even led the Bobcats to the quarterfinal round. Last season, right before the MAC tournament, Quinnipiac was able to defeat Fairfield at home. This ended Fairfield's 39-game MAC win streak and the chance for them to go undefeated in back-to-back seasons. The energy and confidence that this win gave Quinnipiac helped lead them to the MAC championship game. They didn't win, but learned the feeling of defeat. This fueled the success that we've seen from the Bobcats so far this season. They were able to fill in the missing pieces with first-year Ella Ryan and senior transfer Sydney Ryan. The Bobcats are currently 16-1 in MAC play, their only loss being on Saturday against Fairfield. This team is hungry and they want a championship win. The leader, Coach Fabry, has said all season how special this team really is. Fabry herself has said this team has put in all the work and time in. It's now up to the team to win. They put the time and effort in. Only thing left to do is win. In 2 weeks down in Atlantic City, the women's basketball team will be winning the 2026 MAC championship.
That's all the time we have tonight for Bobcat Breakdown. Thank you for watching, and we will be back next week with another episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and X at Q30 Sports and check in at our website at Q30TV.com. Thank you to all the producers and everyone working hard behind the scenes. For Brittney, Bronleben, and Josh August, I'm Matt Flaherty. Have a fantastic night, Bobcats.